Hey everyone, welcome. I'm Naomi, and today I want to do something a little bit different with the video that I offer. So usually every week we get on our mats together and we do yoga or we do meditation, and I very much believe that yoga has the power to change the world. I believe that deep within me. But I also believe that there is so much more to yoga than what we do on our mats. And I very much believe that so much of yoga has to do with the actions that we take in the world. And as such, I want to use this platform as a way to name some of the major injustices that have occurred in this country, have occurred over in the world. And one of the things that has come up so much in the past couple of weeks, in the past couple of years, really in my lifetime, and even so far beyond that, in the past 400 years in this country, is the issue of racism and the issue of Black deaths at white hands. Primarily, the issue of Black people being murdered by police officers, by other white people, simply because of their race. And I don't have anything deep or inspirational to say about that. What is there to say? We as white people have failed the Black people who live in our country. Okay, we have benefited from the system of white supremacy, whether we chose it or not. It benefits me still to this day, and as a result, because I don't believe that it's fair, because I don't believe this is how things should be, because I want my kids to grow up in a world that is equitable when it comes to race, when it comes to religion, when it comes to sexuality, right? When it comes to people's lives. Everybody deserves the right to be alive, right? Everybody deserves the right to live in peace, in happiness. Everybody deserves the right to walk down the street and feel safe. And everyone deserves the right to do that regardless of the color of their skin. And in our country right now, that is not the case. And I want my kids to live in a world in which that is the case. I want my kids who are white to grow up knowing that they are not entitled to anything different or special just because they're white. And I want Black children to grow up knowing that they have a right to feel safe, and they have a right to feel loved, and they have a right to grow up and to live long and happy lives. And while there isn't much that I can do specifically from my yoga mat to address that, what I can say is that I am working as actively as I can to learn more about how I can continue to be anti-racist, how I can raise my children to be anti-racist, how I can learn from my own mistakes, learn from my own internalized racism, and how I can have hard conversations with people in my life, with people I don't know very well, with my own children, to create change in the world. So one of the things that I want to do is to acknowledge those people who have been killed by white people, by police and by other white people, and whose deaths have not received the justice that they deserve, and really who should not have died in the way that they did. It is not a complete list. It is a list of maybe 40 names. I didn't count, maybe 50. The Washington Post since 2015 has recorded over 5,000 people, Black people, who have been killed by on-duty police officers. And that doesn't include people, Black people who have been killed in jail, or Black people who've been killed at the hands of white people for no other reason than being Black. It is not an extensive list, and it doesn't even go back further than 2015, and it doesn't even touch the systemic abuse that Black people have faced in this system of racism and in the system of white supremacy. But what I want to do is read some of these names that I have compiled as a way to honor and to respect them, to remember them, to remind you of them in case you have forgotten, in case you haven't heard of them. Some of these names that I read are ones that I hadn't heard of until today myself. They're ones that I pulled from the Black Lives Matter site. They're ones that I didn't know about their deaths in some cases until today, and I read about them And so if they're names that you don't recognize, I encourage you to read about them, to learn about their lives, to learn about how they died, to see how incredibly unfair it is to not be given the benefit of the doubt because your skin is a different color, to not have the right, as in the case of the last name that I'm going to read, to even be asleep in your own bed. So as I read these names, I'm going to read a name, I'm going to pause, and then read another. My hope is that gives you the opportunity to connect a little bit to the atrocities that are committed in the name of white supremacy. And hopefully give you the inspiration to be a part of the change. So please stick around for each and every name. Please stick around for this. I know this is not my usual content, but it's really important. So just take a moment for myself. Tamir Rice, Freddie Gray, Eric Garner, Michael Brown, Laquan McDonald, Dontre Hamilton, Megan Hockaday, Eric Harris, Walter Scott, Sandra Bland, Jamar Clark, Ayanna Jones, Rekia Boyd, Timothy Russell, Melissa Williams, Alton Sterling, Philando Castile, Corin Gaines, Terrence Crutcher, Keith Lamont Scott, Deborah Danner, Tatiana Jefferson, Maya Hall, La Avante Biggs, Tanisha Anderson, Botham Jean, Ahmad Arbery, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, there's nothing that we can do to bring these people back. There's nothing that we can do, but we can continue to fight for them. We can continue to fight against the systemic racism that has infiltrated every aspect of our culture. We can continue to learn how to be anti-racist, how to prevent further unnecessary deaths from happening. We can do better. And if you are a white person like I am watching this, we have a lot to learn. And it's not going to be easy, and it is going to be uncomfortable. I will screw it up sometimes. And if I do, when I do, I hope that I will have the integrity to listen, to learn, and to do better, and to help build a world in which Black people are not afraid rather, to walk down the street, are not afraid to go to the bank, are not afraid to sit in their own house and watch TV, are not afraid to lie sleeping in their own bed. So we can do better. And I hope that you are with me in pledging to do better. Please support organizations like Black Lives Matter, Black Mamas Matter. There are so many. Please support organizations that help support Black people, that help uplift Black members of the community. Please support Black business owners and Black businesses. Right? Please amplify Black voices so that their voices are heard and learned from. Please be a good ally. And instead of talking over Black voices, listen to Black voices. Okay? If you hear somebody speaking in a way that is racist, stand up to them, speak up. Okay? Do your part to create change in this world so that we don't have to keep reading names of those who have died. But instead, we can look forward and say, these are the lives that we saved. These are the lives that we helped to keep going. And this is the world that we created in which people are not afraid to live purely based on the color of their skin. So thank you for sitting with me on the mat today to listen to these names. And again, I hope that you will be with me in dismantling the system of white supremacy from the inside out, learning to be anti-racist, and to building a better world.